Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names on this cold, windy evening. Y'all, people up in the north can have this cold back. We're not ready yet. Tonight, we're going to talk about a very, very important plant called Australian tea tree. Yes, it is what tea tree oil is made out of or made from. Now, let's get this straight. I am not making tea tree oil. I do not have the setup for it, nor do I have enough plant material. I am making a tea tree infused what's called liniment, which is tea plant material soaked in isopropyl rubbing alcohol. So this is going to be for external use only, not tea tree oil, tea tree infused isopropyl rubbing alcohol. So therefore it's a liniment. So let's get a little closer and talk some more. Once again, liniment, not tea tree oil. This, it has dried quite a bit, is beautiful, real Australian tea tree plant material. This is an amazing medicinal. It is not only antibacterial, it's antifungal, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and several more antis. It is good for acne, bug bites, rashes, wounds. Let's see what else. Head lice. That's a different video I'm gonna make for those who have children suffering at school catching head lice. This is going to be for external use only for wounds, acne, inflammation, rashes, bug bites, so on. Now, I know most of y'all will not have the plant material, but it does grow here, but it will die back during the winter. Up north, you could probably pot it, but you'd have to bring it inside definitely for the winter. So, this is in case you ever get a hold of the plant material so you know what to do with it. The main parts that are used are the leaves. But just for good measure and because I don't like to waste anything, I'm going to be putting the bark and the stems in as well. Because I don't like to waste anything. And since it is pretty much fairly dry, I don't have to worry about it watering down the rubbing alcohol. I wanted to do it fresh, but with the heat that we've been having, it didn't happen. So, I'm going to still take advantage of it and load the jar up. And I'm using a big pickle jar that I'm recycling. Y'all hear really loud pings and bangs. The wind is something else, and the acorns coming down are even worse. All right, let me stop a minute. Make sure that your jar or your container that you're using, your workspace, your scissors, your knife, your clippers are all clean and sanitized. And your hands as well. Now, if you wanted to, you can also take tea tree oil and mix it into isopropyl rubbing alcohol and make a liniment that way as well. Make your tea tree stretch further. The main part that is used to make the tea tree oil is the leaves, which are these little fine needle looking pieces. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. It smells just like tea tree oil. And like I said, it's dry. Does it diminish the medicinal benefits? Not whatsoever. Now, for those in Southern California, I know Australian tea tree grows there also. So if you live there, you can be lucky enough to harvest it also. My gracious, it sounds like a train's fixing to come into the shed. Look at all that beautiful, beautiful tea tree. I wish y'all were here to smell it. It is just absolutely amazing. I'm trying to get it. I'm gonna pause it just a minute. Sorry about that, y'all. That train's a good distance away. The wind is causing sound to travel very well tonight. But yes, when making a liniment, it's okay. Like I said, my first rule is I prefer to use fresh plant material, but you can use dried. I didn't think it had dried out that fast. And yeah, it did. There you are. Come out of there. All right. That should be plenty in there. That jar is full. Hold on, I'm just going to put just a little bit more for good measure. A little bit more, it's not going to hurt things. It'll just be really good and strong. Alright, now, if you're using fresh plant material, you're going to want to fill your jar good about half the way up. What you have to be careful with is water content. And since it's fairly dry, now I know stems are still a little green, but the needles or leaves are dry. So I don't have to worry about the rubbing alcohol being watered down. I have a motley stash of different strengths of rubbing alcohol because I've been a pack rat trying to, stash up as much rubbing alcohol as possible because, there for a while, the paranoia that was being pumped left and right, and, well, you couldn't buy rubbing alcohol anywhere. More than one way to skin a cat. Especially when your hands don't want to work. And these are going to be 70% isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to use all of that first, and then I'll go to my stronger. I prefer to try to keep my liniments, especially if they're also going to be used for rashes and wound healing, at least 70%. Once it starts getting higher in percentage, it gets a little rougher to use. Oh, it works very well. But it's also going to light you up. But this liniment can be rubbed on inflamed joints and such. It can also be used as, well, double sealed. It can be used also as, and yes, I know a lot of people say, no, don't use rubbing alcohol. When I was younger, yes, I did wipe my face down with rubbing alcohol. It does wonderful things for acne. Now, if you wanted to, you could mix rubbing alcohol with actual tea tree oil and use that on your face after you have washed your face very well. Well, that's the last of the 70%. Now we go just a tad bit stronger. 91%. Thankfully, I'm not going to have to use too much of this. And of course, as always, I'll have more medicinal benefits in the description box below. in a shift situation, especially medical, this can be used to wash out wounds. Yep, it's gonna light you up, but you know what? That wound's gonna be clean. And with it being tea tree oil, it also fights staph infections as well. And that should be right there. Okay, let me get my lid back out. Thankfully, I had enough. I was worried I wasn't going to have enough. I've got to get some more so I can show y'all how to make the witch hazel. Yes, I know a lot of people are going to scream, have a heart attack, go on. My lid's a little janky, little ugly. This is a freezer Ziploc baggie. I am gonna use this to make sure that rubbing alcohol does not come in contact with my lid, because if it does, it's going to rust that lid out, and it's also going to ruin the liniment. And I'd much rather not ruin my liniment. Oh, scissors getting dull. Come on now. Okay, that's plenty. I didn't cut way too much with those scissors. Just going to have to sharpen them, that's all. Okay. And two, this helps keep what's inside this jar as airtight as possible. Now, as it marinates, soaks in the isopropyl rubbing alcohol, it's going to shrink. It's going to, well, first it's going to rehydrate, because it's partially, rubbing alcohol is partially water. It's going to release all of its wonderful medicinal benefits into that rubbing alcohol. As with tinctures, as with extracts, 8 weeks. 8 weeks, or you can let it go longer. Of course, you don't even have to strain it if you don't want to. You can leave it in here, which I'm going to leave it in here for a good while, because I have plenty of tea tree oil. Simple, easy, homemade. As long as you have this plant material, Lord, y'all been looking at my coffee cup. I'm sorry. As long as you have this plant material, you can make this. Like I said, it will grow here around Memphis during the warm summer months, spring, summer. It'll do great. It's not going to get really big and tall. I do have a short that I made showing this plant the exact plant I harvested from. It will get so tall, and before winter comes, you harvest it back. You can mulch it a little bit, not with actual mulch, but leaves. And this one pulled through -20. Yes, but it's also planted in a concrete jungle. It's in the formal herb garden, if it's still there. Um, so the concrete did help to hold in heat and radiate into the ground, which I think might have been what saved this tea tree. Now, further south, where it stays nice and warm, you should be easy to grow it. Just, it likes water, it likes to be fed, and it likes sunlight. And thanks to that beautiful plant, I'm going to have this amazing medicine, this amazing liniment. Now, let me stress, this is not, absolutely not to be used internally. This is only to be used externally. There's no dosage amount with this. It's just gets, once it's ready after 8 weeks or longer, depends on how long you want it to go. Because it'll stay indefinitely like this. You can pour a little bit out into a bowl, a container, whatever you need to use. Use it as, like I said, you can pat your face after you've washed it if you have acne problems. You can massage it into inflamed areas. You can use it on rashes, and it's going to burn. Wounds, it will heal wounds. Going to burn. Will heal bug bites, and so on. Athlete's foot, this'll take care of athlete's foot too. It's going to burn. But I look at it like this. When it burns, you know it's working. I've used rubbing alcohol on many things most of my life. I'm kind of immune to the burn. But simple, easy, homemade, an amazing medicinal plant, and a true blessing to have. I'll have more information in the description box below. Everyone, take care, stay safe and sound. This world is getting crazier by the day, and so are the people in it. And especially the ones that's in charge. That's the scary part. They're getting even crazier. Uh, Continue to stock your pantries with food that will sustain and nourish you. Good stuff. Good stuff. Think like our ancestors. What did they survive on? Very little, but they survived very well. Medicinals, medicines that will heal you. Protection of all kinds, and the bare essentials that you need to survive with. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Y'all take care now. May you each be blessed. Hoot hoot. I'll see you soon.